So I'm coming to talk about a topic that is it needs to be talked about, okay? And that is arranged marriages. I want to start by saying, um, hey, like and subscribe. Welcome to my channel. I'm in my kids' classroom, so yeah. I want to start by saying arranged marriages are generational curses. That's what they are. And they are chosen generational curses. They're like a traditional curse that has been passed down, um, like a ritual. And with rituals comes a consequence. I mean, with anything you do, for every action, there's a reaction. If you call yourself casting a spell on someone, for example, you know what's going to come back to you, it's the same as your karma or whatever. But I'm going to explain to you why it is a generational curse. Because, y'all, times have changed. It has changed. And I understand when it was once a thing, but this is 2020, almost 2021. And we are still arranging people with other people, not allowing them to freely choose um, a husband or a wife, not allowing them to choose their own bride or groom. Um, and I personally believe that um, it's for people who can't get anyone. Yeah, people want to. It's kind of like pimping your child. It's like, oh no, let me pick the person that I want you to be with. And number one, you're picking off of status, caste, you're picking off of, excuse me, yeah, pretty much, wealth and status. Um, and then looks, which doesn't really matter a lot of times, but looks come into play. You have two people that had met each other, but maybe once or twice. They know dilly squat about each other. They're probably very unequally yoked. It's kind of like playing Russian roulette. And, you know, um, a lot of times these people have already explored their options. A lot of them are scared of the backlash. They're scared of their communities. They're scared of their families. They're scared to be true to who they are. Therefore, suppressing themselves is it's like being in a closet. It's really like being in a closet for the most part. You're not free. You're a slave. You're being sold off, and you're expected to accept it, behave a certain way, ignore your heart, lead with your mind. And what's funny to me about that whole thing with the mind is it's not even your mind. It's the thoughts that they put into your mind. Um, it's the things that you are taught. And like all of us, we were raised a certain way. We were taught certain things, and um, we kind of lived our life by that. And then, eventually you realize a lot of this stuff makes you miserable. A lot of this stuff shaped your actions, and a lot of it became your regrets. When you make these decisions based off of something that was embedded in you, something that was taught to you, something that was passed on generation to generation, something traditional. And you're like, let me just go with the flow, follow the program. Let me just follow all the rules. And then you wonder, is something wrong with you? Is something wrong with me that I am this person that has to be this? Am I rebellious? Am I just going to disappoint people? And the answer is no. There's nothing wrong with you. You just want to be free, and you should be free. I mean, this is 2020, and I understand keeping certain traditions, but certain things has to be broken. And as some people said, rules are made to be broken. Not every rule, but obviously some. And you know, um, I just don't understand why people can't speak up. Um, they haven't come out of the closet yet. Um, everybody's out. Everybody's out the closet. Everybody's being true to who they are because YOLO. You know what I mean? You only live once. Whoever that you're in the process of disappointing, they will be fine. They've lived their life, they've made their choices, and you have a right to do the same thing. Um, Sorry, the kids are loud. You have a right to do the same thing. This is your life. You only live once. You don't get a do over. You don't get to say, hey, you know what, if this don't work out, I'll do it next time. You don't get to do that. You don't know what you get. You know, I'm not gonna have anybody choose for me, and you shouldn't have anyone choose for you. When you do that, you just end up miserable. And I was looking at some statistics with arranged marriages, and I was also looking up some forums and stuff like that. And I was like, gosh, look how many people are miserable. And they don't divorce because they don't want to embarrass their families. It gets past the point where it's like they don't want to embarrass themselves, but then eventually that doesn't matter anymore because they're so freaking miserable. But then it's like, I can't embarrass my family. And that's the part that gets hard. And would I tell you to embarrass your family? No, but should you be considering them when it comes to your life and your actions? You know what you want, and if you feel like you can't get it, then obviously you're not doing something right. Nobody should have to hook you up with someone else in order for you to find a mate. And even if you were doing like blind dates or something like that, it should be your choice. It shouldn't be, hey, this is the person I picked for you. This is the person I picked when you were a baby. It's just very silly. It's very silly. It's very inconsiderate. You're not even taking into consideration your own child. What are their needs? What do they want? What do they like? What are their interests? Who complements that? Who is a match? Who's the equally yoked person? And oh goodness, on a lot of these forms, these people have broken other people's hearts. They love each other. They want each other. They desire to, they're longing for each other. They've been planning together. And all of a sudden, oh, we want you to marry this person. And then they cut this other person off. And it's like, it's so heartless, y'all. It's so heartless. And it's sick. Like, for you not to care about another human being's heart, to break their heart. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know a lot of factors, and then just to feel like you're forced to pretend they didn't exist and pretend that you don't have these emotions. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. And it's a cycle that has to be broken. I have friends from lots of different walks, lots of different cultures and places and stuff. And it's just not right, y'all. And for the times where it does work out, that's great. But that's very rare. Of course, they're not going to speak out about it. They'll get online, they'll join these groups, and then they'll talk about how miserable they are. And I mean, let's be honest, a lot of them are willing to cheat. Some of them are being abused, but they can't go anywhere because, here's the deal. Here's the agreement, and they're stuck. They feel stuck. So my encouragement would be realize you're not stuck. You don't want to embarrass your family, just don't do it to begin with. You know when you don't feel right about it. If you're excited and you're like, yeah, let's do this, that's great. If not, don't do it. Um, Nobody should have to hook you up for you to get with someone. I mean, not everybody's ready at the point in time where their parents are thinking they are, you know. And another thing is, I wonder, you know, what if your child's gay and here you are trying to marry them off, and so now you have a child that's on the DL, which is dangerous. You know, being on a down low is dangerous. Um, Battery's running low, y'all. I say all this to say, like, a person should be able to choose who they want to be with. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't, like, us parents, we shouldn't have any say so in that. You know, if we feel like somebody's toxic or dangerous, of course we're going to speak up. But outside of that, you shouldn't have any say. You let them do them. You know, they'll discover down the line if this person is right for them. And then you're just diving head into a marriage without any type of courtship. And it's like, that's just crazy. Yeah, it's not, may not be your culture to court. Um, but again, have you not learned anything from your brothers and sisters in the world? This is why it leads to such sick behavior. Like, the only thing that's missing is the fact of stoning one another if somebody does go out with and go off and cheat with somebody that they want, you know? And it's abuse, it's slavery, it is, you never grow up. You know, you never grow up. You're always being controlled your entire life by your parents, by your family. You're basically always concerned with what other people think of you, and that's just a toxic way to live. It's so toxic. Now, I know some people are going to watch this video and be like, oh, no, it's not bad. Oh, you're seeing it this way. And, oh, this, you know, and I had a great this and this, that. That's great. I don't care about your perspective. Let's be honest here. It's very rare. You know, the reason why a 60% don't divorce is because they don't want to embarrass their families. Okay. You see it on, you see it on 90 Day Fiance. You see it on all these shows. It makes you think, like, gosh, I mean, they're crying and stuff. They want to be together. And I mean, oh, it what really gets me is when your child's so young and you're trying to do this, or they're super old and you're trying to find a match. And it's like, your child's 30 something, 40 something years old, and you're looking for them. Like, it's a desperate, you know? And then the first thing they're forcing them to do is to hurry up and have a child, an heir. Y'all, it's toxic. It's slavery. Um, it's not what they want. They're scared. And if they happen to get someone that they vibe with, that's a match, that's great. They're happy. But if they're already dating someone, loving someone, or just want to find someone on their own, you're wrong to force them to do the opposite. I have seen some that are just flat out flaming. You know your child's gay and you're trying to marry them off. The child's too scared to say anything. So they're not only in the closet, they're in the casket because they're living dead inside. You know what I mean? Because they can't express themselves. They can't be honest. They can't even say, I mean, and it's not that they can't, they just won't, you know. And then now, so they're beating themselves up even more because they just won't have courage. Have courage, y'all. This is your life, you know. You'll get a chance to die one day. And, you know, why are your parents controlling you? Why are your families controlling you? Why are you such, why are you in such fear to be true to yourself, to live your life, to be free? Uh, it's beyond me. You know, my mother once said to me, don't chase behind a man. And I've been dating this person for a while. And I said, I love this person. I'm not chasing behind anything. This is someone I love. It's not chasing. They're not running away from me and I'm like, hey, come back here. You know, we were running to each other. You know, it's not chasing. And I told her I love him. And I left. I left and I married him. You know? Um and that's just what it is, you know. If you're gonna make mistakes, you need to make those mistakes on your own. You get to do that. That's your life. This is how we learn, you know. But your mistake shouldn't be made by someone else. Like, y'all get how crazy this is? So I just want to encourage y'all, be courageous, say no. Okay. No is a complete explanation. Okay. A complete sentence. And you are not required to explain yourself. And if you're worried about the backlash or the consequence of going against what your family wants, then the only thing I can say to you is accept the consequence. We have consequences for our actions in this world. You know, accept the consequence so that you can live better in the long run. Work hard for what you get. You don't need their approval. And eventually they'll come around. You might not be able to see that right now, but eventually they'll come around. They'll have to accept you. They'll have to have time to think about, wow, like my child really, they're strong willed. You know, they really put forth all this effort. I'm proud of my child for their education, for their work ethic, you know, for having a loving family, not just going with tradition. Because if we all went with tradition, y'all, some of us would be doomed. Like, we need to break those curses. Those are generational curses, and sometimes they need to be broken, including religious aspects. Some things just, you have a right to analyze things for yourself and decide what is it that you want to believe and what is it that you don't want to believe. You get to pick and choose. This is your life. This is your life. And nobody gets to tell you how to do it. Nobody gets to tell you what you can and cannot do. They can suggest it. They can be angry. They can be happy. They can be sad. It doesn't matter. They don't get to decide. This is your life. They don't get to decide. So, yeah, that's my spiel for the day. I'm surprised that, because I'm recording this off my phone, I'm surprised I hadn't shut off. But have courage. I mean, golly, like, have some courage, y'all. I get it. I get the embarrassment. And I get the embarrassment for another reason why I'm going to have another video. But you are going to torment yourself for so long. And then by the time that you finally break, like a glass or a jar or a bottle, by the time you finally explode or break, you're going to wish you did it so much earlier, because you're going to be in a wasted all these years, all this time, been unhappy for so long, probably dug more ditches and probably added on seeds, kids to the matter. Probably end up doing some infidelity, you know, like, you like what you like, people. You're attracted to what you're attracted to. And it is what it is, you know. So you have not because you ask not. Some of y'all just don't speak up. Some of you just, you're too afraid. You're cowards. And it needs to stop, because somebody out there love your cowardly behinds. And you love them too. And it's like, you're going to say screw them and their love and their everything, their hearts, all because you're fear. Here's a scripture for you. Perfect love casts out fear. So if your love is pure for someone else, all that fear should disappear. You should just stand up, be courageous, like David when he had to fight Goliath, and just, hey, it's a giant in front of you, but you can slay that giant. You just gotta have some courage, you know, and do it in love. Cast out that fear, and if they respect you, or they'll learn to respect you, you know. So, y'all, it's been real. I'm almost at 20 minutes now. I love y'all. I hope you like and subscribe, or just comment. Don't care if you agree or not. And y'all take care.